everybody, welcome to another book review. Today we're talking about The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. If you follow me on social media, you know just how addicted and obsessed I was with this book. It's a fantasy about fae, but not a lovely fairies and Tinkerbell kind of fae. Think more if fae was suddenly to walk into Game of Thrones. That kind of fun. This will be a spoiler-free review at the beginning, don't you worry. If you haven't read this, I will make you. And then we're going to do a complete spoilered, in-depth discussion because I have a lot of thoughts. Pretty much everyone in the YA community has heard of this book now. It's on the New York Times bestseller list, so it's pretty much sort of floating around a lot of humans. Set in the real world, as we are right now, but there is a secret community of fae that have their own laws, and there is just race of creatures that people don't know about. And in the book we follow Jude, who has lived in fae all her life because of an unfortunate incident where her father, but her sort of adopted father, kills her parents. In the prologue, we get this really intense kickstart to the series, and the reason she has to go to live in fae is because she doesn't have parents anymore. Thanks, Maddox. Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't even know. But all her life she wanted to fit in with the actual fae because she herself is immortal, but she has lived among them. And you'd think that's just a really lovely story of fitting in and stuff, but it's really not. There's so much political intrigue in true Holly Black style, as you would expect. There is so much betrayal, and there's these really morally ambiguous characters. We never quite know what's going on in their heads. There's so much history in this book because we find out so much backstory to the actual fae world. People start discovering ancestry lines. It's currently my favourite book of 2018 that I've read so far. I've read about 6 books until this point, and this one was actually the first book I've read, and it's still maintained its #1 spot. What I really love about it is how well incorporated it is into actual society. After reading this, you might actually question whether fairies are real because it's just very well integrated. Holly Black is the queen of the fae. That has been long established. So this is just a very enchanting book. The whole way through, it's so fast-paced. There's so much magic. But of course the main character is immortal. She's able to lie, which is a really cool thing because fae aren't allowed to lie. That's what I'm going to say for non-spoilers because let's be real here, there is no messing around with this. I need to get into spoilers because I will combust if I don't discuss this book with someone, hence why I'm doing it to camera. So make sure to check out The Cruel Prince. I will leave some links down below if you want to get it or get more information, and then you can come back and discuss the despair that I'm in right now because honestly the things that happened. I've set the book down because I have a feeling I'm going to get very fangirlish and a bit crazy about this. When you first pick it up, I completely expected something different. So I knew that Jude was going to go into the fae world, that's where she was brought up. But I had no idea we're going to get all these different princes having their own backstory, and there's going to be so many betrayals and family feuds. Jude was the most complicated protagonist to carry such a storyline. The whole time I was reading this, I was thinking, girl, where are your morals? And then it clicked that if you think about it, she's been brought up in a world where murder's just a thing that happens and these generals just go about stabbing people because they can. So she's grown up in a completely different environment to what you would be brought up as normally in the mortal world. When it started clicking with me, this is just what she knows. So let's talk about some of Jude's actions. When Jude joins the secret spy gang for Prince Dane, sorry, what? The way that she just accepted everything that he told her to do made me think she is much stronger than I originally would have anticipated. And when she actually kills the guy that was the main bully, I forget his name now, that was deep. It was just so intense. And I love how chaotic and indecisive her thoughts are. And I think that's the biggest thing about her relationship with Carden, who is just... I know I'm not meant to fall for all these bad boys continuously, but yet here we are. But let's just forget him specifically for a second because I'd be here all day. Her relationship with Carden is, I think, the most interesting thing because for 1 minute, you know, let's kiss. And then she thinks, oh, how could this benefit me actually? So my favourite scenes are when I think, oh, look at them being friends, and then want to stab at each other. You would think that stereotypically she would warm to him after finding out that he himself was abused by his brother. But no, she decides to kidnap him later on in the book anyway, because you don't see it coming. They're having all these moments and you think, oh wow, look, they're falling in love like every YA book right at the end. But no, she was just leading him on. And for the first time, I think I might be properly invested in an anti-hero heroine. And I've seen some reviews online criticizing the book where people say, oh, she's very problematic. But I think that's the whole point with her. She makes these decisions based on what upbringing she's had. And sorry, but if you look at her stepdad, Maddox is, you know, he bloody killed Dane and he was meant to be in his employ. So when you have someone like that as a role model, there's no way you're going to have the same ethical standards as everyone else. She spent her whole life living amongst people/creatures that lie professionally. Because even though fairies can't lie, they have pretty much mastered a way to tell the truth without actually telling you anything. So it's a very compromising world to be in. The Jude sisters, I love Vivi so much, and my favorite part from her, I think, is when they were talking about her girlfriend, and they say that humans cut their own ears and sew them to heal into pointed ears like Faye. That is so a reference to Holly Black's own ears, because if you didn't know, she actually made her ears look like Faye ears. And I love the whole dynamic between Vivi, because she doesn't really want to be there, yet she's a fae and she has a really strong connection to the outside world, and that's the complete opposite of Jude, and that's what you would expect from Jude, because stereotypically you have the girl who's in a world that she doesn't want and she wants to get out of it, but here you have the complete opposite. So let's talk about the big fight at the end with the coronation of Prince Dane. What in the bloody hell? That completely reminded me of the Kingsman scene, the church scene, where everyone just goes on a massive killing spree, because suddenly Prince Dane is alive and well, about to take over the throne and then the High King. So, you know, they were just all dropping dead, as you do. I thought that was the main happening of the book. Prince Dane is dead. We didn't really know much about him, and I thought we never really found out whether he was good or bad. And then we get that lovely story how he killed his wife and his child. What? As you can see, I'm just very moved by all of these plot twists that I never saw coming. I saw some things coming. Quickly, let's talk about Locke, because that's something I saw coming. That snake. I mean, I love snakes, I'm not being offensive, but he's a snake. You go out with Jude, you know, you pretend you're in love and you go on dates and stuff. But then, when the sister said that there's someone, I knew it was him. Because there could be no one else. You wouldn't have her hiding this big secret unless it was someone who knew. And it wasn't gonna be Carden, was it now? So it had to be Locke. And I hated him from the very beginning. He was such a frustrating character. And I was just so happy, actually, in the end, when it turned out to be true that it was him. Because it meant he could just go away and live his sad little life. So let's quickly talk about Balakin. He was crazy, let's be real. His whole mannerism and the way that he's probably the most gruesome brother. There's a strong case for Dane as well. But that made me question who the cruel prince of the title actually was. Going into the book, I fully thought Carden was the intended cruel prince. But going through them all, the book should just be called The Cruel Princes, because holy mother, Carden was the complete cruelest you could ever be. And then you meet his lovely siblings, who are just more morally ambiguous than everyone else in the whole bloody book. The way this book ended actually had me question my sanity, because it was so deep. I knew that Jude had something up her sleeve, because I don't think she actually would have allowed Oak to take the crown. But the way it was played out, I just had to read it as fast as possible, because I couldn't believe what I was reading. Oh, you know, just pretend. Show Oak how to put the crown on. Carden just do the kneeling, puts the crown on his head. I gasped. I felt like I was watching it happen, and it was the most traumatic thing I think I experienced in this book. It was so hurtful to read. So Carden and Jude already have a complicated relationship, as we already discussed. And I love their scenes because I feel like just the angst is coming off the page. But I never thought that she would actually betray him like that, because I thought the kidnapping was sort of as far as it would go. But here we have it again, that Jude might not be the heroine that we think that she is. And yes, she did it out of the love for her brother, that she clearly cares about him. So you have arguments for both. She could be seen as an anti-hero, but on the other hand, you could argue that it's just her love for her family that causes her to hurt Carden and everyone else. For book 2, I don't even know where to begin, because I feel like we're going to get more betrayals, but I mostly can't wait to see what Carden is actually going to do, because He clearly doesn't want to be ruling the lands. He likes to just drink his sorrows away in the corner. Now he's the most powerful Fae ever, and Jude of course is going to be there. So I'm curious whether he will actually let her in and whether they can even become allies in the next book, because his hatred for her right now is like way up in Mars. I want Vivi to have a bigger role in the book because I really loved her in this one. Taryn can just go and die in a hole, to be honest. So overall, you can see that I was so addicted to this book. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to discuss in detail more things, so throw some questions to me about any plot points or what your predictions are for the next book and what you thought of the book, of course, because I gave it 5 stars in case you couldn't tell. I quickly want to show you the Cruel Prince candle from the Taken Moons candle shop. So let me walk you through this creation. This candle is not even on sale yet, but I'm here to show you a preview. I love this company so much. I'm a rep for them. I'm showcasing their candles on my Instagram and Twitter, so if you follow me, you probably know how these are kind of like drugs to me. I smelled them in my last unboxing as if I was slightly unhinged. This is a special Cruel Prince edition. This is what it looks like, and it says, "Does that feel noble?" like in the book. And it's scented with jasmine and wine. So it's going to be sold at a convention up in the north in the UK. Taken Moons is going to have a stand. But if you can't go to that, they're going to be sold shortly after the convention on the Etsy shop. So I'll link all the information down below. I have a rep code if you want to buy any of the other candles and get a discount. This one also has glitter, just to let you know. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Bye!